Hello everyone, I am back once again to round out all of the Spider-Man Brand New Day reviews. Here is a review of the Mafex Spider-Man No Way Home Final Swing Suit Spider-Man. So here we are in his full glory, all his glossy glory. And of course, here's the box. Unlike the other two reviews I did, I actually have the box this time. But yeah, this is the front of the box. This is the side. This is the other side. Top, Spider-Man No Way Home. Bottom, Legalese. And at the back, all the product shots of this figure. So, enough of that. A brief little overview of this guy. He's awesome. He's probably the best Mafex I own, besides, I guess, Daredevil. And he has to be probably the best Spider-Man I own, period. He's just a great figure. Everything about it is great. And I will say, he might just be the best Tom Holland Spider-Man figure of all time. And I would say, definitely a really good representation of No Way Home Spider-Man. Well, not No Way Home, but Brand New Day Spider-Man. So let's move on to the accessories. Now with all the main stuff out of the way, I can get over to the more general stuff, well, the other stuff that probably people don't care about. First off, he comes with some web lines. These are ones that he can hold with the web holding hands. They simply just hold on to here. And of course, if you had a Mafex figure, you know how to remove the hands. You simply just remove it from the peg like so. I won't lie though, they are a bit fragile, but yeah, just be warned about that because they can be a tight fit at times. But yeah, really nice detail, really cool. Sorry, Spidey, I'm gonna sit down for this one. He also has a pair, if I can find it, of medium-sized webs. Really nice. Now, these ones have a little ring in there. What they essentially do is connect onto this little peg here. You simply remove the hand like so, and then you put it here, and then you put a web shooting effect there, or you do it like this, and you put the web shooting effect. Really cool. However, I will say that these kind of are bent, and I'll be honest, they're kind of flimsy and also kind of useless. Same goes for the other pair of web shooting effects, these smaller web shooting effects. Again, same deal as the medium-sized ones. Not really a whole lot. And then he comes with a Mafex stand. Now, I don't know if this is exactly his or I got it or anything. I did get this from a Cyclops from my display, but that's the stand, and it comes with a few adapters. There's this main one, the clip, attaches on like so, and it can hold Spider-Man. However, because of his thin frame, it's very loose. And then he also has another one. This one is a bit tighter, and it also is different. You can remove it like so. You can remove this piece, and this is just its own thing. So you can have it as something like this, or you can have it where you can hold the figure properly like so. The stand is perfect. I think this is perfect enough to get this guy into some dynamic poses, which I'll show actually later towards the end of the video. So yeah, now let's move on to the painting and the sculpting. So the painting and the sculpting on this guy is amazing. It's great. It's awesome. It's not, now painting wise, obviously it's not perfect. Here's a suit. Here's what the suit looks like from No Way Home. And you can notice that it is very dark. The red, the blue especially. But I chalk it up to, this isn't really in my mind a final swing suit from No Way Home, and more so a brand new day suit. So here's the brand new day suit for comparison. The blues are darker, the reds are darker. Yeah, it basically kind of reminds me of that. But anyways, color accuracy beside, the sculpt on this thing is great. Here's what the head sculpt looks like. This is just his normal head, not his like squinty eyes or anything. Really nice. Love the intricate detail on it. But I also love that the web line isn't so obvious, which is really cool. Love the sculpting around it. And it looks nice. Moving on to the arms, there is like this texture pattern, which is really interesting, and it kind of really does look like it's homemade. And I do love, again, this texture, and the sculpting on it is so good. Everything is hidden so very well. The hand joints are really nice. It's not so obvious to look at, although it might annoy some people. The body is very nicely well sculpted and well painted. The spider logo is very nice, nicely sculpted. Everything about the torso is very, very good. But yeah, if you notice on camera, it is very dark. Now in person, it's not as dark, but this really shows, like, it definitely feels a little bit more like Brand New Day than it does feel like No Way Home. And yeah, you can see there the spider logo, very nicely well sculpted, although it is broken up by the diaphragm joint. There is a bit of a proportion issue. Upper half is good. This half is a little iffy and looks a little weird. He has these weird birthing hips at times. His thighs are so big that his hips feel so small, and it kind of looks a little weird. Especially when he's like standing straight. It makes him look stocky, you know? It makes him look stocky and less skinny. And also like this weird sculpting detail feels a little weird. Maybe it's my headcanon, but it's like, it should be looking like, you know, it's one solid piece, no stitching there. I'm okay with it being here, but I don't know about being here. But overall, really nice detail. It's very clean. The reds pop, no paint bleed or anything whatsoever. Especially like, and of course the feet. Oh my goodness, really nice detail on the feet. The fact that it's like the soles are all painted black and there's intricate detail there is so cool. So yeah, overall detail on this figure is awesome. Very brief, I know, but it's the Spider-Man costume. There's nothing I can really say other than it's pretty great. It looks exactly like how it did in No Way Home, minus the colors. And even then, I don't think the colors are that big of a deal. So overall, not bad in terms of the painting and the sculpting on this one. Now let's move on to the articulation. Peter here poses like a charm. This is like one of probably the most fun I've had with a Mafex figure since like Daredevil. Like Cyclops and Bucky, they're good, but I don't think they will ever reach the level of posability like this guy. Overall articulation is great. However, if there's one thing, quick, not PSA, one thing to be worried about is the neck. At times, it definitely will not right now, but at times, if you do want it to go up, it does occasionally pop off a lot. But so far, it's not that bad. So there is a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck. But there is also a ball joint at the base of the neck. So he can do all this. He can look, see what I mean? It's a bit difficult. He can look up about this far, which is a bit underwhelming. He can look down about this far. He can look left and right, and he can tilt from side to side. He has a ball joint rotator cuff for the butterfly joint, so it can go back about this far, and it can go cross like this, which is impressive to me. He has a hinge, so it can go up about this far, but with the butterfly joint, it can go more. Arm can 360, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and then a hinge swivel joint, so it can hinge from left. It can hinge up, it can hinge down and up. And as you see right there, the joints are a bit loose, at least of the pegs, and it can go left and right. He has a ball joint torso, essentially, a diaphragm joint and a ball joint at the waist, so a lot of movement there. With both joints, he can crunch about this far, and he can crunch back about this far, which is really great. Legs are on a drop-down joint, and the torso is a soft plastic material, so he can kick up about this far, but with the drop-down, he can actually kick more. And he can even, now going back, not that much, but with the drop-down, whole lot. And there is nice spread, which is really nice. He has a thigh swivel, but not as like posable, I'd say. Double jointed knees that can almost kick to his bum. And then he has a swivel ankle system, much like the hands. Swivel, and then it can hinge up, hinge down, and then of course pivot left and right. And he has toe joints. So posability overall is amazing. It's so much fun to pose. So great. I have no complaints at all, other than, I guess, the neck, and I wish it had more range. Everything else, it works just fine. And you can get this guy into amazing poses, as I'll show at the end of this video. So yeah, now let's move on to the size comparisons. Spider-Man is actually shorter than I thought he would be, but to be fair, by this time he's still a teenager. So he's almost like, what, 5'8", 5'7"-ish inches? Not yet at that 6-inch mark. But again, to be fair, he is a teenager during this time. Here is the Mafex Final Swingsuit Spider-Man compared to the integrated suit Spider-Man. And man, this is the only Tom Holland Spider-Man figure I own besides the black and gold suit. I know, right? And man, the difference, the proportions, the sculpt, the paint, I know this is meant to be integrated, but even then, oof. Wow, what a difference. Here is Mafex Final Swing compared to his mentors, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, or Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and The Amazing Spider-Man. Here is the Mafex Final Swing Suit Spider-Man compared to a very good lawyer, Daredevil, the born-again figure. Here is the Mafex Final Swing Suit Spider-Man compared to his other castmates who are appearing in Brand New Day, the SH Figuarts Avengers Assemble Hulk, and the born-again Punisher from Marvel Legends. And finally, for your average 6-inch scale comparison, here he is compared to a random G.I. Joe I just found. So, is this figure worth it? Absolutely. Now, I don't want to compare stuff, but I feel like compared to any other Spider-Man figure that Marvel Legends or SH Figuarts has released, this is just blowing them out of the water. The paint, the sculpting, the articulation, the accessory loadout, It's a lot, and it's an amazing package. Now, obviously, is it perfect? No. The neck, I feel like, has a few issues, and I still think the of course, if you want to be like very concerned about accuracy, it's not the most accurate to that suit. But overall, I really like this guy. Honestly, he may just beat Cyclops as my favorite Mafex of this year until I get maybe a few more, but I don't know. But so far, this just might be the best Mafex figure of this year I got, and the best Spider-Man figure I own. So, and also, of course, the best MCU Spider-Man in the market right now, especially for this suit. So overall, amazing figure. 9 out of 10, maybe even 9.5. I really do like this guy. As again, hand candy. That's what he is. So overall, yeah, thanks for watching. Thank you for watching all of these reviews. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys next time in the next review, which I don't know what that may be. So yeah, until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. And of course, enjoy the photo gallery.